Hey guys, Tom here again from synthhacker.com. Welcome back to another Serum tutorial. In our last Holo tutorial, we covered the lead sound from my remake of his track Lift Me From The Ground. In this video, we're going to be covering the chords. So let's have a listen to the demo and then we can begin making them completely from scratch. So I really like this chord sound because it has the kind of richness of a digital modern synth like Serum, but there's a few things that I've done to give it a little bit more character as well. Just to give you a quick breakdown of the sound, it's just 3 layers of Serum spread across the stereo field. These individual patches themselves are actually really simple, but it's the way we've kind of layered them that result in this kind of huge chord sound. So let's first of all start with our central layer. We're going to be using the hypersaw waveform, which just sounds like this. We're going to give it 5 voices of unison, bring the detune down quite a lot. This is because we want our wider layers to be a little bit more detuned. We're also going to reduce the width of these voices of unison as well, just to kind of move them out of the way of the wider layers. Then we get this. Next, we're just going to subtly change our amplitude envelope to soften up the attack a little bit, give it a little bit more release. We're also just going to roll off some of the very high end. It's very simple, but like I said, it's the way that we're layering these sounds together that results in the huge sound we're after. So next, let's move on to our hard panned layers. Again, we want to use the hypersaw waveform. We're going to set this to 3 voices of unison. These are going to be a little bit more detuned. Because we're going to hard pan this left and right, we're actually going to reduce the width to 0 for the detuned voices. We're also going to add a noise layer to this sound. We're going to add the J106 high past. Again, we're just going to modify our amplitude envelope to be similar to our first layer. We're just going to give it a little bit of release, soften up the attack a little bit. For these wide layers, I also added a few effects. I used the hyper dimension effect, just brought the mix down a little bit, give it a little bit of this dimension effect as well. I also just added a little bit of chorus. So moving on to our final layer, this is just basically the exact same as our left layer. You could just duplicate the synth, but again, just hyper waveform, 3 voices of unison. The only difference we're going to make on this one is to use a different noise source. That way you can perceive the left and right channels to be separate because it's a different noise. We're going to use the organ noise instead. Again, just the same amplitude envelope as our other layer, a little bit of attack and release, and some hyper dimension effects and a little bit of chorus as well, and we get this. And that's pretty much it for all the layers. So if we listen to these together. Okay, so just to go over the group processing on our synths, the first plugin I used was the GHz Wolf compressor. I mainly like this for the wow and flutter and lo-fi parts that just add really nice analog character. So I'll show you the sound dry and then with the effect on. So that's our sound without. And then that's with, and as you can hear, it just really takes a lot of the harshness out of the sound and adds that kind of gritty analog character. The next plugin I used was the RC20 Retro Color plugin, which Holo himself has said he used. This is again just to kind of double down on this nice kind of analog style processing that we used in the last plugin. Next, just a little bit of EQ to remove some of the low end out. That was really just to make room for the bass element in our track. Next, I used a little bit of limiting just to kind of squash the sound together and create that huge, loud wall of sound type effect that we're after from sounds like this. And then finally, just a little bit of LFO tool to create that kind of like pump-in effects that you could hear in the demo track. So that covers everything, guys. I'll just show you the end result. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I think it really goes to show that layering is an incredibly powerful tool. The individual patches themselves, like I said, weren't complicated. This is just like really simple stuff, but it's the way we've kind of panned the layers, processed them as a group that leads to that really cool, huge sound. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you got some use out of this tutorial. If you have any suggestions for future tutorials or any questions like that, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. But without further ado, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. As always, guys, if you've not done so already, feel free to check out my preset and sample packs over at synthhacker.com. Every purchase on there includes the presets from this tutorial as well as all my other tutorials. You'll also receive a free email update with presets from future tutorials as well. So thanks for all the support so far, and thanks in advance for checking that out. I really do appreciate it.